Is it now harder to get into Mexico as an American? True or false? The short answer to that is false. There's a whole lot of misinformation, disinformation, out and out lies, misleading data that's out there that says that Claudia Sheinbaum, president of Mexico, has decided, because of Trump's actions, to make it harder for Americans to get into Mexico, making the process similar to what Mexicans have to do to get into America. While I could understand that viewpoint, I could understand wanting to get that type of retaliation. That rumor, that information that's flying around social media is not true. I have a link in the description to a Reuters article that debunks the entire thing. I will say that's not true for right now. Whether that becomes true in the future, who knows? I think there's only so much a particular country will put up with over time from all the shenanigans that Trump is doing. So there may be some retaliation at some point in the future, but who knows? But I think the question of whether it's true or not is one question, but I think there's maybe a little deeper question to say, why is this particular piece of misinformation being put out there? To whose benefit is it? What are they trying to make happen or stop from happening? And I think there's a couple of different theories or different ways you can go about it. I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but there's always a reason why something is happening. So if I look at it from a couple perspectives, I think from, the Mexican perspective, we experienced it on our channel of people that kind of come in and they leave comments and they say things like, do you have visas? Americans don't need visas to get in. You can kind of stay here forever with no visa, which is, not true. You can't legally do that. There are people that really don't want Americans to come down for a multitude of reasons. There are those that come down and want to change the culture to be exactly what they want. And, that's not our particular reason of coming down or our intention as we try and do any type of maneuvering within the country. But there are a lot of people who come down, like there's a big story about, some folks who lived across the street in an apartment complex from a restaurant. They were trying to shut down the restaurant because it was too loud. So I can understand the noise thing in Mexico because everything is loud, but that is the culture. Like it is not, you don't have the right to come down and try and change the culture to your own benefit. So I can see like those forces that are saying we don't want Americans to come down because they'll ruin our culture, or on the flip side, because America isn't very friendly to us when we try and come into America. They want to shut down the border, so to speak, to kind of keep Americans out. So perpetrating that lie, that misinformation that it's going to be harder for you to come down may, discourage people from trying to come down to Mexico who maybe had the thought to do so. So maybe that's a reason why you want to put that information out there. Or it also could be from the Mexican side, like wanting Sheinbaum to do that. So like maybe trying to spur her on to actually make those actions and put those things into place. So in general, it could be sort of a Mexican pushed agenda that kind of keeps Americans out of their country. And I think from the flip side of that, there's also the idea that, as people are not really feeling the things that Trump and Elon Musk and his whole team are doing right now, there's a lot of people that are thinking about and following through on leaving the country. And I think while, this current administration does want to disenfranchise, discourage, put at the bottom of the pile a certain class of people, certain types of people, they don't necessarily want you to leave. There is some benefit for you to be here and, be at their mercy, do their labor, do their bidding, what have you. So I think there's some of that possibly could be a motivation for it as well, to kind of make sure that people that don't like the situation aren't trying to leave. And Mexico was always sort of Mexico and Canada, the two easiest options because you can just kind of go across the border, as it were. So maybe trying to discourage people from leaving. I don't know. I think there's sort of a lot to it. It could be just, before in the previous election, they said it was China on Facebook just trying to sow confusion and sow doubt. I would not be surprised if that's another angle of it as well. Just like, it's not necessarily to any specific agenda, but how can I cause confusion? How can I cause people to kind of butt heads? And there's people out there who just love to like cause chaos on the internet. That's just fun for them to sit behind a computer and, pick at people's nerves, as it were. So then maybe that's a way to kind of look at what's happening. But at the end of the day, the rumors right now are false. They may become true in the future. Who knows what kind of come of all this. I think we're seeing a lot of things shift in the world in response to what's happening with the current administration in office. And the way people not only perceive the United States has changed, but also the way they're going to start to interact with them is going to change as well. So, as much as, Trump tries to make it seem like he is, the big man and everyone's bowing to his will. Like if Mexico becomes an enemy of the United States, Mexico protects the southern border of the United States for the most part. So like there is an immigration problem, but think if you removed Mexico's help from that, how much bigger that immigration problem would be. So there is a reason for Trump to make sure that Mexico stays in the U.S.'s good graces for the most part. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on here and have a little talk about Mexico. For those of y'all that are thinking about coming down, like don't let misinformation stop you. Make sure that you are doing your due diligence, making sure that all the information you're getting is true and accurate and fair. Because, for a lot of y'all, it's time to go. And I get it. A couple years ago, it was time for us to go. I think I don't know if we were ahead of the curve or in the middle of the curve, but, as you kind of see, as things are broken down now that, it's really tough to be in the U.S. if you're not on the Republican side of things. If you're not somebody who's relatively independently wealthy, who the government is now shaping itself to, help you more than anyone else. So a lot of people are going to get left out in the cold, and a lot of people are deciding just to, get on up out of there and go someplace else where conditions are favorable. That's the reason why many people came to the United States in the first place, and it seems like that may be the reason a lot of people leave. For those of you out there who always enjoy our content, I know we've been light on sort of the commentary on Mexico lately and been more into sort of showing you the day-to-day life here. It's been very intentional. We want to make sure that we're giving you a balanced view, and it's not always just something to sit down and talk about Mexico. After a while, it gets repetitive. You want to go show instead of tell. So we've been doing more of that showing rather than just telling. But definitely want to come on here and make sure that this little piece of misinformation isn't out there steering people in the wrong direction. So if you are someone who is thinking about leaving the country, coming to Mexico, we do offer consultation services. We just basically share our experience and kind of give you, a little bit of information, a little bit of knowledge that we have from being here for a couple of years already and going through that immigration process. You can sign up for that at 7997.life. As well as we have a membership here on the YouTube channel where you can get exclusive content. You can get early releases on videos and all that good stuff. So check that out as well. It's only a few bucks a month. So as always, we thank you guys for listening. Cuídate, Arias Garce. Take care, take a chance. And we'll see you next time. Peace, guys.